According to head coach Billy Donovan, Lonzo Ball is not expected to make his return on Saturday against the Memphis Grizzlies. We're going to talk about it all and more and why Bulls fans need to start tempering their expectations when it comes to Lonzo Ball and be a little bit more realistic. All that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. My name is Haize, but most importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. I wanted to bring this one to you guys quickly when it came down to it. That's Lonzo Ball, according to Billy Donovan, is not expected to make his return on Saturday. I know there are a lot of Bulls fans after Billy Donovan initially said that while Lonzo wasn't going to play in the Bulls preseason opener, that he was expected to play in this preseason. A lot of Bulls fans were hoping that that meant that the debut was going to be at home when the Bulls take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the case for Lonzo Ball. Keep in mind the initial reason why he missed that first preseason game. They said it's about strength and conditioning after a bout with COVID. So, when it comes down to Lonzo, and I'm not saying every Bulls fan, because a lot do have realistic expectations when it comes to Lonzo Ball. But I think I talk to a Bulls fan every single day that thinks Lonzo Ball is going to come back to this team and start, or that is going to come back to the team and be a key. Is going to come back to the team and be a big reason why the Bulls can win a lot of basketball games. And ultimately, I think Billy Donovan is telling us what the expectation is for Lonzo with the words that he's choosing, right? Keep in mind, Billy Donovan, as much as I have issues with Billy, he's been the most honest when it comes to Lonzo Ball and his injury status since it went down. Even AK hasn't been as transparent as what Billy Donovan has really been over the years when it comes down to Lonzo Ball and where he is. He just hasn't. And so when Billy Donovan is saying things like, well, this season is about prolonging Lonzo Ball's career, making sure Lonzo Ball can play after this, saying even the time he's not going to play 82 games, maybe it's 66 games, right? Every time Billy Donovan talks about Lonzo Ball and his potential return, he's very realistic with the matter of it's not going to be what many people think. And I think that is listen, I want to be clear here. And in a perfect world, I hope that Lonzo Ball comes back. He's exactly who he was when he left. He's making threes. He's doing the bouncing off one leg, the guitar celebration that he does. I want to see all of that. That was some of the best recent memories in Bulls histories when Lonzo Ball was able to do those things. But the fact is that I think Bulls fans are setting themselves up for disappointment in what Lonzo was really going to be able to do in this first season back after missing 998 days of basketball. Let's just be clear for those that are understanding this, right? The Chicago Bulls Central is we've done 1,223 straight days of content. 990 of those days, Lonzo Ball has not played basketball, right? So we got to temper the expectations when it comes to Zoe. And I think that that's something that Bulls fans, again, I'm just speaking in a very small minority, aren't really ready to accept. Lonzo Ball this season, I'm not saying that he can't make an impact when he's on the court, right? I think Lonzo's basketball IQ, Lonzo's passing, these are all things that can help the Chicago Bulls whenever he's able to be on the court. But this is not a thing or a season where we're probably going to see Lonzo Ball be able to do that for a large amount of time, right? So it's going to be more special just to get him to see it. And I think I get it, the expectations of being there. I understand, because we all want Lonzo to get back healthy, right? I don't think anybody at this point is like, oh, no, I don't want Lonzo to get healthy. I think even the people who don't necessarily see if Lonzo's going to be part of the Bulls' long-term future or anything like that, I think most Bulls fans will tell you they want Lonzo to be healthy. But you got to be realistic in what we're seeing here. And so Zoe in this initial season back is about proving that he can stay on the court. Now, building off of that going forward for the rest of his career, of course, it may have to change. Maybe it's more like Sean Livingston. Maybe he can be the next Jonathan Isaac and make a return and be a really good perimeter defender on top of everything else that Lonzo has always done well over the course of his career. But it's just probably not going to happen in a large portion of this Bulls season, and that's okay. being out of the game for as long as he was out of the game, having 2 surgeries that nobody in NBA history has ever returned from, all these things add to it just being something that again, it's gonna whatever Lonzo does is special. Every step that he takes towards getting back on the basketball court is groundbreaking in a lot of ways, and he will be back on the court. Like, let's be clear here: the fact that we can even say that there's a higher probability than not that Lonzo Ball is going to be back on a basketball court this year is a win in of itself. It's a huge win for Lonzo Ball if we're just being 100% honest when it comes down to it. But some Bulls fans have to temper those expectations, thinking that Lonzo's going to come back and it's going to be something that just ups the ceiling huge for the Chicago Bulls. And, and listen, and I hope that I'm wrong. I would love that at the end of this season or at the midway part, whatever it is this season, I'm like, could y'all remember between the first and second preseason game, I said that Lonzo wasn't going to play? I pray that I have to rescind this comment that I'm saying right now. I would love nothing more than to have to come to you guys later on down the road and be like, Lonzo has played 76 games this season. But the chances of that happening are slim. And the slim is getting close. Again, none as far as him making that level of impact. He will play this season. And I think that sometimes you just got to take that as a win. Lonzo Ball is going to play basketball in the year of our Lord, 2024, and the 2025 season. He's going to play basketball. That's a win, right? But all these narrative-driven things of, Lonzo's going to eventually take this starting position from Josh Giddey, or Lonzo should start, Lonzo should do this, Lonzo should do that. Y'all got to chill, not we. Y'all got to chill and stop denying what the injury history is telling you, right? You just got to stop that. And then we got to determine and see what even 100% Lonzo now could be a fraction of what 100% Lonzo was in 2021-22. That's just a realistic thing that could happen there. Now, hopefully it does not, right? But there's a big chance of that. Love what Cortez is saying here. Don't rush him back. Absolutely, right? Can't rush him back. I totally wish he can come back. Exactly. You can't rush him back. He's barely going to play this season. Nobody has ever come back from this injury. For his future of his career, he needs to take it slow. Trust everything will work out if he goes about it slowly. And that is what Billy Donovan is trying to tell us, right? Great point here as well from Winton. Lonzo Ball will return when he's ready to return, and then be on minutes restriction when he finally does. Damn, exactly. Right? That's just it when it comes down to it. Lonzo will get a huge standing ovation opening night. It'll be so good to see. Facts. And he deserves every bit of that. Every bit. He deserves all of that. Like, let's be clear. Imagine if you made it to the point of doing your dream, right? Lonzo Ball, that's what he's been fighting for basically since he was like 13 years old, is getting to the NBA. Imagine getting to the point of making your dream, getting drafted in the NBA, being a starting point guard in the NBA. And at 26, having to realize that you may never play it at the same level that you played before. Let's let him come back when he comes back. It's a first thing for everything. Gradually put him in the fold and see what happens. The Giddey signing was great for this situation. Facts. Great. And and this is why I always say that Chicago Bulls Central has some of the best and most intelligent basketball fans of any podcast. And I stand on that because you guys are really, really level-headed when it comes down to it, and I appreciate that. I think Lonzo has more value as a trade piece since his contract expired, and that may be the case. That may be the case. Now we'll have to see, right? But a team could be willing to take on Lonzo Ball in a trade because they want his bird rights, and maybe they do say, like I've said before, and I've always thrown this team out just to say it, right? So I'm not saying that the Spurs are actually interested, but let's say the Spurs look at Lonzo Ball at 26. They look at Chris Paul aging and say, hey, we know we're not going to bring Chris Paul back. We can trade for Lonzo Ball, get his bird rights, and listen, if he does get healthy, boom, we got the point guard that can get Wemby the ball, right? We got the point guard that can give Wemby all the lobs in the world, right? Now, I'm not saying that they'll be willing to give up a whole lot for that, but let's say they are. You never know. You just never know in a case like that. Side note: the Bulls starter got ran by I talked about that today on the Bulls on the daily episodes to go and talk about that. Any basketball is good for his life and his mental health going for facts. And that's what this is about. Facts. If Lonzo Ball becomes a key player in the Bulls rotation this season, I'll be shocked. And like the way that I've described it is that Billy Donovan has always basically had a flex 10th man, right? Meaning that he has a guy that's the 10th guy in the rotation that doesn't always play, doesn't always get a lot of minutes, right? But he's in there, right? And that's basically what Lonzo Ball's role is going to be this year. He's not going to get in every game. And there may be some games where he has to sit for rest. He may not play a lot of minutes, but when he's out there, he's gonna be trying to give you something, right? Stefan says, when Lonzo last played, I was a freshman. I am now a senior. That's crazy. That's crazy. I see where you're coming from, Haize, but Lonzo is this era's D Rose for the Bulls, so you can't really blame people. He's not. And that's the thing. He's not even close to this era's D Rose. D Rose won an MVP and had 3 seasons, is what we saw. Lonzo Ball had 9 games in the Bulls uniform. He's not even close. And even when he was at his best, he's not even close to what Derrick Rose is. If people are making Lonzo Ball this era's Derrick Rose, they're stupid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just, and I'm not saying you. No, not you at all, Oregon. But I'm saying that if people in their head are comparing Lonzo Ball to this generation's Derrick Rose, you're just stupid. Because no, he's not even close to being at their level. Tibbs will be playing 48 minutes tonight. That's crazy. People will be happier if they embrace this comeback, regardless of how it looks, and just be happy for Brody being able to live his dream out again. It's great to see. Honestly, I can't wait. Facts. All of that is facts. I'm amazed he even got this far. We have multiple point guards, so we really in a low risk, high reward situation in case he gets hurt. 100% fact on that. That's why I love your pod. It's got to be the most level-headed, looking at all the different fans' POVs. And I try that, right? That's one thing in podcasting that I try to do is look at every perspective. Now, I'll have my own perspective, but I like to look at all perspectives, even if it's not in line with what I personally think. Because, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not one of those podcasters who's going to try to present it as I always get it right. Right? I have my thoughts. I have information. I can dive into the analytics and things like that, but I'm not always right. So, but yeah. Maybe they take the give us our pick back and change the protection if it's the Spurs. Maybe you never know. You never know. Shout out to Edward Buckley, who became a member. Shout out to Ed. Thank you for that, brother. We thank you for that. Close to this was D Rose. What the fuck? Almost pissed me off. That's crazy. Off topic, but Haize, you looking a little slim. What type of diet are you on? I need a little help. Bro, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I ain't eating much of shit, bro. Like, I probably eat 1 full meal a day, lots of protein shakes. I mean, like meal replacement protein shakes, but that's it. I try to walk. I try to get in 10 miles a day as far as a mix between walking and jogging. And yeah, I'm almost down 40 pounds in 2 months. So, yeah. What if Lonzo comes in and goes crazy, though? I think minutes will be a problem as long as he's healthy. No, because he's not going to play that many minutes. It doesn't. I'll tell y'all that right now. It doesn't matter if Lonzo Ball is averaging 16 minutes per game on 8 minutes. If he had, 16 points per game on 8 minutes, he's still going to be on that minutes restrict. You cannot bet your rotation on somebody who's going to be that limited. You just can't. I think he meant in the injury aspect, Haize. We know he's not the D Rose status ball-wise. I mean, but it's not, because Derrick Rose had an ACL injury. That was common as hell. Like, this is, I think people, even if you're talking about the injury concern, right? Lonzo Ball is already out more times than D Rose, and D Rose had 2 injuries that ended his season 2 different times, right? So I don't even think it's the same in that one. What Lonzo Ball has had has been so like nobody's returned from. Do you think Lonzo could play some G League games just to up his conditioning and reps? You know what? Sean, I'm going to be honest with you. I've never thought about that. Now, Lonzo Ball he's been in the NBA too long for the Bulls to assign him to the G League. So he'd have to willingly say, yeah, I'll go to the G League, because the Bulls can't just assign him like they did Patrick Williams a couple years ago when he had the thumb injury. So I don't know if that's going to a high chance with that. Giddey he played a terrible first half, but if you look at the second half, he actually played a lot better. Sup, Haize. At this point, I wish Lonzo well, but in my opinion, it would be ideal to find a suitor for him and we move on. Well, that's the thing, though, Vern. I don't think any team's going to take a chance on him. I don't think any team's going to take a chance on him until they can see that he's at least able to get on the court at some type of frequency. So right now, you're going to have to play him. I just don't think. Now, maybe I'm wrong, right? I could very well be wrong on that one, but I just don't know if a lot of teams are going to be that before they see him being able to get on the court. The trade deadline leading up to it is going to be a lot of rumors. Oh, the fact this trade deadline is going to be crazy for a lot. The Jimmy Butler thing, a lot of trade speculation around. I'm already happy to see Lonzo in training camp. His legs need time. Don't need to rush the return. Facts. 100% facts on that one. Yeah, Trench Baby, you got to change your name to Dumbass Baby. Because if you think Lonzo was never a star, like, let's be clear. And you said superstar, you got to stop smoking my dude's ball sack, bro. Like for real. You got to stop doing that. Like, stop coddling another man's balls more than you have common sense. Like, that's crazy work to be that up another man's ass that you can't see the forest for the trees. Like, you literally looking at shit balls in your face and you think you see something that's a point. This team's superstar? Come on, bro. Lonzo was never even a star. And not to say that he couldn't have gotten there had he not gotten hurt, but let's be clear here, bro. Like, that's just idiotic. That's literally just stupid. I don't know if y'all haven't watched the NBA before, but they going to take Lonzo out of the game right on the dot if he drops 20 in 10 minutes. Even in the regular life, doctors make you take things slowly. That's a fact. That's a fact. Lonzo has much value on the Bulls as a leader and teacher. Definitely. And I've said that before. Having Lonzo even be there, traveling with the team, in practices with the team, hopefully pulling guys to this. I mean, he said it, right? Like, and that's another thing that sucks about all this is at 26 years old, he's going to have to start embracing the mentor role, right? So, yeah, we'll see. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you. That's all I'm trying to do is lose 50 pounds and you just help me out. Yeah, bro, it's a tough commitment. I'm not going to lie. The first probably 2 weeks of doing that, it almost killed me. I'm being dramatic. It didn't actually almost kill me, but you got to allow your body to adjust to not having regular food. But then at that point, your body just starts, it gets used to it. Right. So now keep in mind, you don't have to go. I didn't go straight from eating regular food to just doing protein shakes all day. I did wean myself off. So I started off doing salads throughout the day. Right. So I would have salads and then I'd have protein shakes as well. And then one full meal a day. And then eventually I got off to the point where it's just basically protein, 2 meal replacement protein shakes during the day. And then I usually eat dinner around between 6 and 7. And that's it for me for the day. But the walking, I think that the cardio is like, you want to burn a lot of fat. Cardio is a big part of that. It's a big part of that. Saying Lonzo is weak is basically saying LaMelo's weak because they both, who said it? What? First of all, English, bro. Anybody who's a grown-ass man and types day, D-E-Y, in an actual conversation, you got to chill on this one. You got to chill on it. You got to chill. Laugh my like, bro. Like it's just, people are just special, bro. Like it's special. It's special. It's special, bro. Zach and Vooch need to go, by the way. We need our young guys taking those shots, not either of those black holes of shot attempts. I don't think Zach was a black hole in the game. And I think Zach LaVine can actually fit into this. And I wouldn't call Vooch a black hole either. Vooch just isn't good. Like at this point in time, like as a half court player, like if we were willing to slow things down to accommodate Vooch, I think he'd be able to put up numbers. But he's bad defensively. You have to play like he's not good in any aspect defensively. He can't switch. He can't play drop coverage. He can't really guard most modern centers one-on-one. There's like 3 centers in the league he can actually guard one-on-one. And then the offense is like at this point he's such a negative on defense that even the offense that he does offer, you can get somebody better with that. Lonzo should help out the defensive calls and communication off the bench, even when he's not on the court. I would love to start seeing them transition Lonzo Ball into more of a coaching role. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. He is playing for his NBA. Facts. Yo, dude, Giddy wasn't on shit. Like, guess what? He was on. He was on the court, which Lonzo can't be, and he played a lot better in the second half. And he's not getting cooked in a YouTube chat, not being able to spell, and you're a grown ass man. See, it's sad. What's sad is, and this is the part that sucks, that you guys come here because your daddy didn't raise you, and then now I gotta be your daddy, no Diddy, because you're a fucking idiot and you have no positive male figure in your life to teach you pride in spelling correctly and having a whole cohesive thought. Like, so this is the first thing. If you had a father, first of all, he would have taught you critical thinking. Critical thinking would have avoided you and put you in a position to not get cooked and look like a foolish goddamn asshole on a YouTube chat because you want to try to make a point about your favorite player because you can't separate realism from the false reality that's in your head because you're a fucking idiot, right? So that's the first thing that we have to establish here. The second thing, the fact that you named yourself Trench Baby as if that gives you any type of cachet or any type of actual, like, you could call me a nerd. At least I know how to enunciate and talk about things properly. You're a fucking idiot. And you are a baby because your brain is underdeveloped because your mama chose not to breastfeed you because your mama's flat-chested just like your daddy. And then you didn't even get the nutrients from breast milk. So then they couldn't afford the good Similac for you. So they ended up giving you powdered cow's milk. And now you're sitting here looking like a fucking idiot, right? And now you're sitting here getting cooked. One game in the preseason, you're getting completely cooked and embarrassed because one, your daddy didn't love you and raise you because he was too busy chasing skirts in the street. You can't even chase women in the street because you're too much of a fucking idiot. The moment you open your mouth, they look at you and say, damn, baby, do you need some help? You sitting here trying to argue in YouTube comments. You can't even use the tap method to sound out the words that you want to spell, and you look like a fucking idiot, right? So now you've gotten the full Petty Roosevelt experience. Now you've gotten cooked. So now what are we going to do, right? So now who's goofy? What are we doing here, right? Now stop trying to overcompensate for the fact that your daddy didn't love you and your mama caught him taking back shots on the nanny cam when he was supposed to be watching you, and instead he was out there in Boys Town getting slutted out. What are we doing? What are we doing? Now you hurt, right? See, this is why you don't bother people, right? You don't bother, because I didn't even have to cook you like that. We were having a good conversation in here, and now I had to slow it down for everybody else to cook your dumb ass. Anyway, Zach and Vucevic are unmovable. If you can't be with the one you love the one you with. That's a crazy way to look at that. That's a crazy way to look at that. LeVar Ball has entered the chat. Why you put those trash shoes on your kids, Trench Baby? That is hilarious. And he was getting better and that's the thing that I always look at with Lonzo Ball, right? Is that had Lonzo not had as many injuries, and keep in mind, like, let's give Lonzo credit. The way that he transformed his shot was ugly coming into the NBA. He turned into one of the better catch and shoot and three-point shooters at his position, right? His basketball IQ. Imagine if Lonzo didn't have to spend so many of Lonzo's seasons and off seasons were spent rehabbing from injury. Let's just look at that for a second, right? How many of Lonzo Ball's off seasons were spent rehabbing from injury rather than working on his game? And he still was able to polish off so much of his game, right? So let's go to it. His rookie year, had a major injury, had a rehab, right? His second year, 42 games, had a rehab. He then got traded to New Orleans, played 63 games there, didn't have a major injury, but it was an injury. So he got to work on his game some that year. 55 games the year after that. Then he came to Chicago, played 35 games. So out of the 5 seasons that Lonzo Ball played basketball, 4 of those off seasons were spent rehabbing major injuries. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. I fought 2 wars, never seen this carnage. That is hilarious. Haize, you definitely don't sugarcoat anything. I don't at all for anybody, bro. For anybody. Spare Trench Baby, he ain't no better in Jesus' name. I mean, he's cooked now. Wait, my man went back in the kitchen for more ingredients. This individual must ensure that their writing conforms to the highest standards of accuracy and propriety. Yo, Haize, do you see Kobe running the point if Giddy doesn't show out like others thinks he will? I honestly don't know how to call it, bro. Like, the Bulls have such an investment in Giddy because they have to make a decision on his restricted free agency by the end of the season that I'll say this. Giddey would have to be a complete and utter train wreck by 30 games into the season. And again, he's had an off season where he had a major injury, so he's still getting in the rhythm too. So give him a little bit of credit there. But I will say this is that if Billy Donovan and what Arturas Karnisovas has told us is the truth, they will have to eventually, if Giddey just is not working out, you got to go with what you know. What do we know? Kobe White, and Ayo Dosunmu are a backcourt that works together. So you got to make that decision at some point. Since Lonzo knows his career won't be lasting long and takes a mentor role, do you see him becoming a coach one day since he wants to stay close? I do. Him saying the specific thing of him saying I wanted to stay close to the game, I think that's definitely a chance. By this era's D Rose, I mean in terms of always being injured, showing potential for greatness, and the hype he brought to the team. I'm not saying they're the same in terms of a comp. Okay, I feel you. I still think it's a little different, but I can understand the thought process here there for sure. Haize, you think Trench's baby is Plan B? Chick you roasted last week. Mistake. That's hilarious. You see, Bleacher Report posted the Bulls are a generational incompetence. No, they stole my phrase. Come on now. Like, they didn't steal my phrase. Please don't tell me they stole my phrase. Please don't tell me they stole my phrase. Don't tell me they did that. First of all, come on now. No, there's no way that Bleacher Report stole my phrase. What? Send me the link, bro. Send me the link. Because you know what? I'm tired of motherfuckers stealing shit from Chicago Bulls Central. Who stole my shit? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's wild. Haize, I'm not foolish, and I do understand that Nikola Vucevic needs to go. But after the Javon Carter experiment, they're not the same player at all. Not the same. That making the Jalen Smith and Javon Carter comparison is just not the same. What we were looking at with Javon Carter at the time, and keep in mind, Billy Donovan never said that. That was us. That was me, right? I'll take credit for that. And Bulls content creators that looked at it and said, well, Javon Carter with his defense and three-point shooting, maybe Kobe can, like, it's not the same. When people were saying that Javon Carter could start, it wasn't to say that Kobe White wasn't going to be good. It was to say that maybe Kobe White is better suited coming off the bench where he can play the six-man role and have a lot of scoring opportunities. Jalen Smith is a lot different than that. Like, Jalen Smith is younger than Nikola Vucevic. He fits the style more, right? So it's not the same. That is a blanket comparison that doesn't really hold up in my personal opinion. But I get what you're getting at there. Lonzo to the G League for 10 games. I don't think that. Like, they can't assign him. He would have to basically say, yeah, I'm going to go to the G League. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's fucking bullshit, yo. First of all, the first thing was people stealing from Chicago Bears Central. They stole us calling Cole Kmet the White Rhino. We came up with that. Then Bears now was calling him the White Rhino. Fucking Tape Never Lies started calling him the White Rhino, right? Now, I've been saying generational incompetence from the Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls front office for 2 years. Nobody else has been saying generational incompetence. Come on, man. They stealing my shit, bro. Stop stealing my shit. Giddey running the one. Yes, Giddey has been the point guard for this team. He's the point guard. When they talk about him, they call him the point guard. What was he announced as when he started? As the point guard. Yes, Josh Giddey is the point guard on this team. The world ready to see Lonzo back on the court. It's a hunger out there. This team good. Lonzo can make it better. No, he can't make anything better if you can't get on the court. It's hard to make something better when you're on a minutes restriction, and you're probably going to, at best, play 62 games this season. It's hard to do. Bulls trade top 3 pick 2024 for LaMelo. Yeah, no, they're not going to do that. Plus, no, they're not going to do that. Come on, man. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Not they stole my shit, man. That's crazy. Bleacher Report, you got to stop stealing my shit. Bro, you got to start copywriting, bro. You're a business too, bro. You know how hard, but you know how much it costs to copyright shit as an individual? It's expensive as shit. Like me even copywriting Chicago Bulls Central took hella money. So like it's difficult out here, my boy. It's difficult out here. Haize a trendsetter out here. Hey, listen, I'm not even gonna say all that. Like, I don't want to like boost myself up to say stuff like that, but it's just like, wow, man. Wow. This what we doing. Which Instagram did you send it to, Vaughn? The Bull Central Instagram? Hold on, let me go to that one. I don't see it. I don't see a message from you on Instagram at all. I don't see it. Bulls playing for the lottery. Hey, they tell us they not, right? We'll see. Haize, earlier today you spoke on one of the biggest worries about this team. Maybe AK probably doesn't realize. Does he already had a good backcourt in Kobe White and I already? I mean, there is something to be said about that. There's definitely something to be said about that. Hopefully Zoe stays healthy because he probably go be a good bench player. Don't think he will start unless Josh has terrible. I don't even think then he doesn't start. Like, you're not going to start somebody who's not going to play back-to-backs primarily the whole season. If Josh Giddey has a horrible start, Io's going to move into the starting lineup. And I think you're going to go back to Kobe running point and Io DeSumo being your two because we had success with that. That's a pain in the ass. I took a copyright class in college, so much red tape. It's so much to copyright shit. That's why most people don't do it. Right? What happened? What I missed? Who's stealing? So the Bleacher Report stole a phrase that I use for the Bulls and started using it. I still don't. Oh, there it goes. Wow. That's crazy. Bleacher Report, man. I tell y'all what, man. And I work for them. That's what's crazy. Any updates on Bulls games for Affinity users? Was horrible the other day, and we a little over a week before regular season. I have not heard anything, bro. I've not heard anything. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the last year of Lonzo Ball's contract. Yes, this is the last year of Lonzo's contract. Julian P is already better than P. Will. No, he's more aggressive than P. Will, but he's not better than P. Will. Yeah, he's not the defender P. Will is. Now, P. Will looked terrible defensively on Tuesday. So, I mean, well, for what that is, but for what he's been in his career, Julian Phillips isn't near the defender yet that he is. I don't see the Bulls having much success outside of Zach. I feel like we are built like the Bulls of 2019. I think we're built a lot better than that team as far as talent wise. But that listen, you got to fit together. Salzo doing offseason runs. His jumper looked real good. Hopefully, translate in whatever form. Hope so. Let's hope so. Lonzo off the book this year. Vooch is next year if he stays. That's a fact. But all right, y'all. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, man. Random. We got Seaway back in here. Says, wow, unfortunate. I've had folks steal my videos word for word on TikTok. It's really shameful. Bleacher too big for that. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Think they go into OTA. I think Jerry is going to do what the Cubs did. We'll see. Plagiarism doesn't require the victim to have a copyright. It just helps. In this case, there is video evidence. That's true. That's true. But all right, y'all, man, I appreciate you guys so much for everything that you do and bring to this channel. You guys got to see a complete old school Petty Roosevelt roast session today. I appreciate you guys for sticking through to that, not tuning out when I started going off on old boy. I love you guys, man. Make sure you guys are following the channel at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on,